morning, afternoon, or evening, wherever you're at, ladies and gents. I am Kura Isagami, your resident Tinkerer and Medarotter, and this is the Medarot News Network, bringing you all the latest developments and happenings with our favorite pet fighting robot series. Now this week it looks like we're going to be data dumped with a lot of bots and a lot of gacha banners this week. That actually was because of a teaser that we got just yesterday at time of recording when we had the release of the main protagonist from Medarot Girls Mission, Minori and Megumi, officially joined the Medarotter roster and gacha banner going forward. I suppose a lot of people could have very easily guessed and theorized that probably would be a very big teaser as to what was incoming, and those who guessed it, you are absolutely correct. This week, we will be seeing the introduction of two of the newcomers that were exclusive to Girls Mission, primarily Roll Beauty and Pom Pom Mate, as you see here, and alongside that, a lot of other Girls Mission themed bots or returnees, alongside a very special event that'll kind of play in tandem alongside the Rockman collab that is currently ongoing as well. That being said, let's go ahead and jump right into what was announced for this week going forward, of course starting with the gacha banners for Sporty Girl Power. Starting the line, we see CHR0 Pom Pom Mate, the cheerleader type, with a kit of Stat Cleanse, Tornado, Gatling, Biped Legs, and the leg ability of Mascot, which is honestly incredibly fitting for a design such as her own. Behind her and the version exclusive counterpart to Pom Pom Mate is TNS0 Roll Beauty with a kit of Cooler, Blow Away, Static, Biped Legs, and the leg ability of All-Rounder. And then, in terms of existing models, we do also see a rerun of VAL04 Brunhild, which is another returnee from Girls Mission, with a kit of Gatling, Charge Drain, Guard 500, Float Legs, and the leg ability of Holy Grace. Then everyone's favorite iconic ninja type from the early days, NIN0 Nin Ninja, with a kit of Tornado, Double Sword, Biped Legs, and the leg ability of Mirage. Now already just with these four alone, we're off to a very, very good start when it comes to what we have available with gacha banners. And being completely honest, even though they may not seem like too much at first glance, there are still some pretty versatile skills to be found just within these four bots alone. Pom Pom Mate, for instance, as another possibility and position towards Tornado as an example. Stat Cleanse also you generally can't ever go wrong with. Roll Beauty might honestly be the most mixed and versatile card here of all of them when it comes to a triple kit, with support, melee, and shooting all in her kit alone, which complements her ability of All-Rounder. But, as if this wasn't enough, we are also getting yet another page as well of reruns, starting of course with the iconic KBT-01 Metabi, with Missile, Rifle, Gatling, Biped Legs, and Charge Shot, and of course the ever-iconic Stag Beetle type, KWG-01 Rokusho, with Radar Sight, Sword, Hammer, Biped Legs, and Charge Fight. And then, just as a general reminder as well, if none of these bots particularly seem to pique your interest, we do also have the rerun dropping an introduction of Sword Blues RME03 and Leader Colonel RME04 as well, joining the roster of the collab bots making the rerun. Sword Blues is packing Charge Drain, Sujigiri, Charge Guard, Biped Legs, and the Auto Guard leg ability, and Leader Colonel is packing Buff Trap, Countdown, Hyper Thunder, Biped Legs, and the leg ability of High Fly. Now, the High Fly in particular is a rather rare ability we have not seen very often, if at all. And the only other variance of this one we had was on one of the Full Metal Panic collab bots. But, simply explained, those two leg abilities will buff all leg stats, minus armor and heavy limit of course, by 30%, but take 2.5 times more damage from certain types of attribute skills. High Fly, I believe, is gravity attribute skills, which means if you are going to use them, beware anyone using Break, Hammer, Press, or so on. Now, it is also worth noting that not only were Metabi and Rokusho also present in Girls Mission, as they were essentially in more or less any other Medarot game in existence aside from Medarot 5, it is also worth noting that Metabi, Rokusho, and now Nin Ninja are tune-up capable, which means you can complete missions to earn extra points to unlock extra permanent upgrades to their parts to make them an even more dangerous threat on the field than they were even to begin with. With the Fierce Battles we have this week, it's also going to be focusing a lot on Girls Mission returnees and vets. Starting up the line, we see GTD-01 Daichenko, the sumo wrestler type, with a kit of melee guard, missile, gatling, tank legs, and the leg ability of heavy arms. Behind him, we see APL-01 Top Gunner with radar sight, double missile, flight legs, and the leg ability of aim. And then last but not least, OWL-03 Minerova with laser, free shot, press, float legs, and the leg ability of Torturer. Now, of course, we have seen all three of these models in the past numerous times, so Daichenko, Top Gunner, and Minerova are really nothing new we have not already seen or already have, but for newcomers or rookies that are just starting out, this will honestly be a very good chance for you to get involved and pick up some pretty solid free parts, depending on where you use them. Daichenko for basically free melee guard if you have not pulled one from the gacha banners already. Top Gunner you may or may not use at all, if anything, out of the three models, to be completely honest. But Minerova is going to be, of course, the MVP of the week I did vote for and decide on, primarily for her very wide-ranged array of skills, especially for the female kit, for a female model. And Free Shot is probably going to be your best friend incredibly early on, and even into late game and end game as well, with high-end competitive and meta, where you have to really stall your enemies if you want to keep that competitive edge. Daichenko and Top Gunner are also both worth collecting just for the sake of having them, but honestly Minerova is going to be the big MVP you really want to shoot for if you are going to be collecting any of them. Now, it's also worth noting, just for the sake of formally addressing them here on the channel, SR and rare rank versions of Minori and Megumi will be joining the permanent Medarot banner, which means that after their banner closes, they will be joining the permanent banner and have a good chance for you to pull them pretty much at any time once any other Medarot banners go live. For sake of mentioning what they are able of doing, the SR versions for Minori will buff resist stats relative to the number of times Gatling is used, in this case a stack of 5. I'm not 100% sure on the exact semantics of that, since for some reason my translators kept bugging out on me, but that's kind of the most of the context of what I was able to find. Megumi, on the other hand, will buff cooldown by about 50% for one turn, and an additional 15% or so if you are using biped legs, which really isn't super hard to do, but it also guarantees you can get back to the starting point really, really quick in the case that you really do need to keep up to date with keeping your cooldown penalties as low as possible for that one turn, especially if you're using a very powerful skill that may slap you with no dodge and no defend while in cooldown. Now, in terms of all these bots and Medarotters focusing around Girls Mission, it only makes perfect sense that we are also getting an event as well to celebrate that. This time around, you have a chance to earn a lot of limited time rewards, including chances at rare rank Minori and Megumi, but we also have a chance to earn another Girls Mission veteran and returnee that has still yet to make an official appearance in later games, and that is FRN01 Steinberger, who has a kit of Field Repair, Double Thunder, and Shape Memory as a leg ability. Last but not least, we are also capable of earning the Girl Medal as another commemorative medal to earn through this event. It has been mentioned that this medal in particular has a specialty in healing, defense, and setup, and leg masteries in biped, wield, and flight. So it's going to be another fantastic medal to make use of pretty much wherever, depending on how you use it or where you choose to use it. And because it is an assist nature medal, the passive it will give you will be extra bonuses to your armor, making you just a little bit more tanky than you were before to help keep your damage low and keep your enemies from breaking parts too quickly. Now, the event itself, in contrast to most previous events, will be milestone based, which means every part you use cumulatively will add towards a percentage of a bonus of extra points you can earn. That being said, pure sets will be absolutely encouraged and definitely recommended if you are going to participate in the event. Naturally, Pom Pom Mate and Roll Beauty will be giving you a bonus of 15% per part used. Brunhild and Ninja at 10% each. Steinberger and both mascots of the game at about 8% per part, and the Fierce Battles at 6% each. So again, it's not gonna be a super difficult thing to participate in. Being completely honest, milestone events go by so much faster than ticket-based ones because you can stack bonuses as high as you can possibly get them to maximize your earnings. For Medarot bonuses, it's pretty much the same thing. Minori and Megumi and Arase, the super rare version, will give you the highest bonuses at 20% or 15% each respectively, and the rare versions or the end versions will give you, of course, just a little bit less of a bonus depending on which rarity you're using. But again, I would recommend using pure sets through this entire event to maximize your points and your earnings, and given that we've seen a pretty fair amount of these bots already, if they're not already available in the permanent banner, I honestly see this as going to be a relatively easy event to farm if you've already gotten through with doing the Marathon Survival event and the daily Rock Trans collab event that also is ongoing. Speaking of, it is also worth noting that aside from the Marathon Survival, we are also getting a second round of the Super Invasion joining for the collab, so if you have not had a chance to participate, this is just a friendly reminder to go after that and make sure that you do complete it for that profile nameplate, the rubies, and the cyplasm they will offer you. The modifiers very likely will just be overclocked medals, which means go in with your best team and absolutely lay waste to them. Now, in terms of, as mentioned, Ninja will also be finally getting the tune-up treatment at long last, which means that this already well-rounded ninja type that everyone knows and loves will be getting even just a little bit nastier on the field once he has a lot of upgrades. And most notably, he likes to keep his rather dodgy kit with extended duration of Tornado, bonuses on his swords when dealing pierce damage, or even the ability to unlock extra uses of Mirage, which grants you Conceal upon charging Metaforce, to keep himself as dodgy and as shifty as possible to keep the damage as low as possible. On the community front, we are still always looking for translators to assist us with any translation efforts or projects. Progress toward Medarot 3 has been going along fantastically. At approximately over 60% or so of the game has been fully translated, including menus, and a pretty good chunk of story up to this point. So progress has been made in leaps and bounds. Wonderful, wonderful work to those involved, but we still need help because we would love to not only do this one, but we are still working on decompiling Medarot 4. Would love to get started on Medarots 5 and Navi and so on. Maybe even going back and doing the original 2 just for completion, but we need extra hands and eyes to help. So if you are knowledgeable in coding or cleaning or Japanese and have some time on your hands, we are more than appreciative of any efforts that you could provide. Reach out to me or join our Discord and ask around, and we can get you in touch with the right people to fill you in on what has been done and what you can do to get started. Now, on the weekly art highlights here on the MNN, I found these pieces a while ago and have not had a chance to highlight them, but they are honestly fantastic pieces. This piece here by this Twitter user, U32-2row5GI2, did a very nice and very adorable piece of Shushu 2, but in the FNF art style that has been rather popular in terms of mods and gameplay these days. So wonderful work to that, very adorable design. I am actually very much so a fan of the chibi design that you've done here for Shushu 2. Wonderful work and absolutely adorable rendition that you've done of our favorite MetaTuber. And this Twitter user here, Okake Meta TF, is very well known for doing a lot of custom model pieces using Kotobukiya Medarot kits as kind of bases or templates to build off of. As you see here, they already have made custom designs for Land Motor, a rather iconic transforming car type, and the original version of Sailor Multi right behind that you can see, and in the same 1/6 scale as the Kotobukiya Medarots. So fantastic work. Honestly, I can't emphasize this enough. If I ever get the opportunity to buy one of these or even order one from one of these people, I absolutely would take it in a heartbeat because these are wonderful works of art. And definitely give both of these people a follow if you'd like to see more Medarot in your feed. But with all this being said, I do believe that covers everything here for this week on the MNN. Again, not a whole lot has been announced, mostly just some other announcements and showcases of the metal art that will be officially being available for sale here sometime very soon from the official Medarotter shop. But in terms of Medarot S, this is pretty much where the fun ends for this week. So again, a lot of gacha banners, kind of overlapping that with the Rockman collab, but still making everything available for the sake in the case of where you want to use it or how you want to use your resources. But with all that being said, that if you'd like to know more, you can follow us below on Facebook at the Medarot News Network page or the Metabots Forever community on there. You can also join us on Discord in the link provided and in the comments below to keep an even closer ear to the ground on the action. This includes any new merchandise, fan art, translation updates, manga chapters, my weekly episodes, The Discord server is going to be the first place you will hear it before it goes anywhere else. So if you want to keep a close ear to the ground, that's the place you want to go. You can also reach out to me personally on Twitter at IsagameKura, so if you have any questions or feedback or comments or would just like to say hello, I leave my DMs open purposely for this very reason, and I really don't have any intent to shut them off anytime soon. Additionally, if you are a streamer or YouTuber and somehow find your way into my little corner of the internet and would love to collab or get together or coordinate something, I would absolutely love to do so. Feel free to reach out to me and we can definitely get in touch and coordinate something. Whether that be having you here with me as a guest host here on the MNN, or even have me stop by on your channel to play a game or talk, or even do something else like an interview. But, in addition to that, definitely give these wonderful friends of mine a follow as well. Twitter user Raven, 2013-5086, a fellow 3D modeler friend of mine who's been doing a lot of fantastic work, not just with modeling and design and rigging, but also with a lot of really neat little animations that they've been working on with their own handmade characters. Fantastic work to you, my friend, and definitely give them a follow if you'd like to see more. You also give Ngu Shui 2400, I do hope I did pronounce that correctly, a follow, as well as for some even more additional cute and chibified Medarot art that always will be a pleasure to see in anyone's Twitter feed. But, with all that being said, I do believe that covers everything here for this week, as I mentioned, and I do appreciate you all, as always, for stopping by just as you always do. And until next time, this is your host, Kura Isagami of the Medarot News Network, signing out.